Hello, everyone. How are y'all doing today? We haven't done this in a little bit. So.
Yeah. Well, we've had videos come out a little bit, but we record them way back when. So
yeah,
it's been a little bit.
And we have one more. Depending on when this goes up, we have one more.
Yeah, one more of the best of the decade to edit. Well, we have two more.
Two more.
So,
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get those done by the end of the year. But
yeah, and then we'll have this one up too. Anyways, like I said, we're gonna be doing something a little bit different today.
Even though we haven't done a review since March, well, actually February.
Yeah, February.
With
I have the last review I was in was Birds of Prey.
Yeah, so. The last one I was in was Invisible Man, Sonic, and The Lodge.
Yeah, yeah. So this is gonna be kind of a very slight review because we are gonna put up a grade and we are gonna talk about it a little bit. But we're going to talk about something very specific about this movie in more depth than we would otherwise, in other reviews. And we're going to just talk about the new movie.
I'm thinking of anything.
I
always want to say It's Always Sunny for some reason.
It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, my mind just always go to that. I'm trying to think of the title.
Yeah.
But before we do start, I do want to bring up our podcast, the Awesome Padron podcast. We talk about movie news. We talk about a bunch of random stuff on there. So if you want to check that out, we'll put the link in the description and we'll put a little link up here that you can click on.
Yeah. Yeah. And we were kind of, if you were subscribed to that channel or know anything about it, we were kind of bad about it for a little bit. We had a lot of things happening, but we're trying to start back up on it now, and I think we're gonna film another one today.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna go after this. We're gonna get into it. If you haven't seen, I'm thinking of everything. I'm thinking of anything. If you haven't seen, man, who knows what the title of this movie is? If you haven't seen the movie, I'm thinking of ending things on Netflix, and you want to. I'd recommend you go watch that before you watch this video. We're going to talk about a very big spoiler in this movie. So just go check that out first. And then we're
going to be talking about pretty much this movie as a whole. Really.
Yeah. The movie as a whole and things we liked and the main thing we didn't. If you have seen this movie and you love it, I just want to warn you, there's a big aspect of this movie that we're going to talk badly about that kind of took away a lot of the movie. So we're going to go into it. It's a big spoiler warning. So to start this movie.
Yeah, we're filming a movie right
now. So to start off this video, I do want to bring up a very important thing, and that is I do love a lot about this movie. In fact, the movie as a whole, except for one thing, I love. I love almost every scene. I love the way it ends. I do. I love everything. I love a lot of things about it. Some people what were you saying?
I was just gonna. It had a really weird, just a weirdness to that I really loved throughout most of the movie. Yeah, which we're gonna get to the parts we didn't like.
Yeah, exactly. And I just love the feeling of it. There was times in it where it actually kind of felt creepy in certain ways. You know, you're just kind of feeling on edge at times, don't really know what's going on. It's the kind of movie that. You really do have to think about what's going on in the movie. I'm going to say this one you don't have to think as hard about what it means as some other movies, but you do have to think about it a little bit and kind of understanding what certain parts mean. And like I said, I do love everything. I even love the very beginning of the movie starts off with this car ride. That's I think how long was that movie? Like the movie? How long was that scene? The first car ride?
I think the first one was like 17 minutes.
Yeah,
and then there's another one later on in the movie that's like 22 minutes.
Yeah. And so the first scene I liked, the first car ride, and some people may not. I understand that it is a different type of movie in general. So the first car ride I liked because it was something different. It was like you're getting to know these characters really well with this one scene.
Right. Yeah. It was just like like you said, you got to know the mindset of both the characters. Yeah. Really get a feel for what the movie is trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and that first scene is especially important for things that happen later on in the movie. So the first scene is very necessary. And then obviously, the wacky scenes in the household, that are just fun to watch. And honestly, like I don't know if I've ever brought this up before, but I've always been interested in acting. I've always been interested in just film in general, working with film, but acting is specifically. And this is one of these movies that I actually felt jealous of the person. I can't remember his name.
Jessie Plemons.
Yeah, Jessie Plemons being the main actor and one of the main actors in this movie. Yeah. Like, I love watching Marvel movies. And you don't get me wrong, I would never say no for some reason if I was cast in a Marvel movie. I don't know why that would happen if I was ever casted. But to say that I'm watching those movies like in jealousy of the actors, I wouldn't really say that. But movies like this where like there's just kind of crazy, kind of warped, and you're just trying to think about what's going on. Those are the kind of movies I kind of get jealous of when people act in them.
Yeah.
You know, so I just want to start that off just by saying, yes, this movie, it's actually a great movie.
Yeah.
A great movie. Almost all the scenes are great.
Yeah, and I think we should get into what this movie really is about before we start diving deep into this. So pretty much by the end of the movie, you kind of realize that this movie is through the mindset of Jesse Plemons' character, and he feels like he hasn't accomplished much in his life, and he's extremely depressed. He's working as a janitor. The janitor you see throughout the movie is actually Jesse Plemons' character growing up, and so at the end of the movie, he decides to finally commit suicide. Yeah. And throughout the movie, the main girl, what's her name? She was on Chernobyl. The redheaded girl.
She had her name in real life?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh. Well, her character name, she had several different character names because it was the point of her character was Jesse Plemons is trying to think of just the perfect woman that he never got to be with, which is another reason why he's so depressed and wanting to commit suicide.
Yeah, her name is Jessie Buckley.
Jessie Buckley. That's the actress's name.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what the movie's about. That's what the metaphor for this whole movie is.
Yeah, and pretty much what I loved about it is even though it's so wacky, it is focused. Like most of the time, it is focused, and so a lot of things that happen are contributing to like what the reveal, and it's never fully revealed, but it is pretty vaguely revealed. You're kind of understanding what's happening in there.
Once you see a naked man with a animated pig, then you start to connect the dots a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, another thing I loved about this movie is the fact that the main actress, the main character, wasn't even like the main character. The main character, the actress in the movie, she's the main character in the movie, and she's not. It turns out she's not even real.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. She's just a figment of his imagination.
Yeah. And this is him kind of going through his mind. And so everything about it, loved it. Loved the reasoning. Loved all the metaphors.
I also love the kind of the meaning of the title. I'm thinking of anything. Yeah. Because throughout the movie, the main actress, her character, she in her mind she keeps thinking, I'm thinking of anything, but she's talking about her relationship with Jesse Plemons, or you think she's talking about her relationship with Jesse Plemons, but by the end of the movie you kind of realize that's Jesse Plemons thinking about ending his life.
Yeah, and another thing I love is a lot of times when she said I'm thinking of anything, he would interrupt her before she finished the sentence. So it's almost like him saying I'm thinking of killing myself, but before he says it all the way, he interrupts himself like no.
Yeah, like he doesn't want to make himself go to that point.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't want to, he's trying to distract himself from it, and a lot of that, and it's a lot of that in this movie.
I'm thinking of ending things.
Huh?
What?
Did you say something?
I don't think so.
Weird.
Also, the cinematography is fantastic.
Yeah,
acting's fantastic. It's really crazy, but it's just like right up my opinions, right up my arena. What's the word? Right up my area.
Right up my alley.
Right up my alley. Right up my area sounds a little strange. Right up it. Right in my alley. Right up my alley. You know, like I just loved it. But we need to get into this, and the reason why this movie actually makes me very sad. You know, and I'm not just talking about the ending. I'm not talking about the ending. I'm talking about the reason why this movie got docked off so many points for me and you know, because there's the first. I'll say it again. The first car ride, both me and you liked a lot. It was necessary. It was needed.
It was a nice introduction.
It was cool because it was just like a conversation in the car, and it wasn't too much, but also it was like little details that were important for later on in the movie.
Right.
You know? But the thing that we did not like, and I'm not going to say it should have been gone completely, was the second car ride. The second car ride is the reason.
Which lasted 22 minutes.
Yeah. And this is the reason why this movie got docked off so many points for me. And it was really sad because I loved everything up to it. I loved everything after it. I even loved some things in that scene. But the problem is that I feel like that thing was about 10, 12 minutes too long.
Right.
I think it could have been cut down to about 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially because like the weirdness factor, like we talked about, we loved, But it got to a certain point to where it just got a little bit too much for me, and I just felt like it honestly lost my interest in that car ride because I was like, all right, this is going on a little bit too long now.
Yeah.
It's getting a little too weird. Which that's saying a lot for me because I love weird movies like this.
Yeah.
And I loved everything before it. But yeah, like you said, it got to a certain point to where I just wanted the movie to end. But even after that car ride, that 22-minute long car ride scene, there's still a lot more movie left.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the biggest no-nos you can do in a movie is leaving your audience wanting the movie to end. You know, and I'm not gonna act like I thought this scene was unnecessary. I do think it was necessary. It was right before he was about to kill himself.
Yeah,
So-
and it was nice because kind of like whenever he was trying to interrupt himself from her saying I'm thinking of ending things in that car ride, they went through so many different conversations and topics and all that. So it's kind of like he's sitting in the car trying to like distract himself from what he's about to do. Yeah, and wanting to get himself to a different area of mind.
Yeah, exactly.
But so I like that. It just lasted too long.
Yeah, and so whenever you do that, and I also want to bring up that I also am into slow movies. Like there's a movie that came out a few years ago called First Reformed. That movie is one of the slowest movies I've ever seen in my life. Right. You know, but everything in the movie felt like it was necessary. Every second of that movie felt like it was needed. You know, and so it's interesting. This one, whenever you have a movie that's really kind of crazy all the way up until, and it's just nothing, and it's bam and stops. You know, you stop the momentum of a movie for this one scene, and it kind of it just really messes it up because, like you said, you're wanting this scene to be over, and it's 22 minutes, and you're sitting there like, man, is this scene gonna like end? Yeah. And then not even is the car ride, because I think the car ride, I don't know if you looked at the 22 minutes, was the car ride or just them
I'm not
being
sure.
in the car?
Just on IMDb, it talks in the trivia on IMDb. It just says that the second car ride is 22 minutes. I'm not sure if it's counting everything or just, I don't know.
Yeah, because once they finally park somewhere, you're like, oh, okay, it's ended. But then they still kind of sit in the car for a while. And that takes a little bit. And I'm gonna say this: even some of the conversations in that scene were pretty unnecessary. They didn't need them. And I really feel like in this kind of movie, even though he's going back and forth in his mind trying to distract himself, I do feel like you do need to have more of a focus with every scene.
Yeah, and especially because like I'm not one to like to call movies pretentious. Yeah, I know a lot of people like to call especially art house movies kind of pretentious. But this honestly kind of towed the line of the boundaries of pretentiousness. Yeah, I can't say that, pretentiousness. Yeah, because that scene lasted way too long, and some of the conversations they had, it's like, why are you even talking about this? Yeah, exactly. And it just felt like the writer was kind of flexing his education.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
on the audience.
And I hate to say that because I always hate when people call movies pretentious. Yeah. And I've heard people call The Lighthouse pretentious, and I love The Lighthouse. Just a lot of different movies, like Enemy. Yeah. A lot of people call it Enemy pretentious. I love that movie. But those movies, they do feel like every part of them is focused. Right. You know, even as crazy as they can be, they're focused. They're focused on a goal, and they're focused on what the metaphors are. You know, and this one, I just feel like the scene, like we've said, it lasts so long, so you're wanting it to end, and you're just waiting and waiting and waiting for it to end, and it finally ends, and now you're like, man, I kind of want the movie to be over now. Yeah,
it feels like the movie's about to be over.
It feels like the movie's about to be over, and the worst thing about that. Is the fact that the ending is so sad. Yeah, it's very emotional. You know, and and it was done well. The whole thing after the car ride, I loved it. I love the dancing scene. You know, while watching the dancing scene, this is cool. You know, but at that point, I've already lost interest. Right. And at that point, the emotions that I could be feeling are lost because I don't care anymore. I've already lost interest because how long that scene was, how many crazy things they were talking about in that scene, you know, and just I've already lost. At that point, I'm I kind of just wanted to be over. Just please end it. And I really do hate saying that because I do love the rest of the movie.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, we also do like things that were in that car ride scene. I really loved how they would never show the road that they're driving on. Yeah. And even when they showed the exterior of the car, it just looked motionless because all you could see was the snow coming down. It didn't even really look like they were moving a lot of the times when they would show the outside of the car. And that's pretty much because he's sitting in the car trying to think about not killing himself, but he's so depressed that he's just having this mental battle with himself.
Another part that I liked in the ice cream scene. Yeah.
So many things.
A part that I liked in the ice cream scene. Another part that I liked in the kind of car ride scene, the second car ride scene, is there is like a part where they go to like an ice cream shop or something like that, and they buy these shakes or whatever you call them. But
Right.
They bought these things.
What do you think they're called?
They could be
Shakes?
malts, shakes,
True.
ice cream cups. I don't know.
Ice cream cups. I don't know if I've ever heard that.
But
maybe malts.
Yeah, malts, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember what they're ordering, but they're ordering something. And I like that scene because it did have a nice little eeriness to it. You know, your brain it does show that you do see later on. Well, it doesn't show it, but later if you go back, you find out that the girls that are in that shop you've seen them earlier in the movie.
Yeah, when he was working as a janitor in the school, they were students that were at that school.
Yeah, and so your brain kind of notices it. You don't really notice it yourself because you see them later. You see them earlier in passing. You know, and so it does bring an eeriness to it. You know, and like I said, this movie does have a lot of creepy elements to it. In the household, there's a lot of creepy elements.
Like the dog, whenever he would shake himself. I don't know why that just unnerved me so much, but it was just so creepy.
Yeah, or like whenever she's like talking to the family, she looks out the window, turns around, there's nobody there. Or whenever she sees that picture of herself, and then she looks back at it and it's him.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, oh, I thought that was me. You
right.
know?
And then whenever they first get to the house, when Toni Collette's like waving out the window at them, like without stopping.
Yeah, and just the whole aspect of the fact that like every time there'd be like every time they see the parents again in the house, they'd be like a different age, like like really old or like really really old, and then like the dad would walk in, he's really young.
Yeah, and then the mom walked in, she's really young.
Yeah, and so it's just a lot of things like that makes me really sad to actually talk negatively about this movie because I did love so much about it.
Yeah, and then just included in those house scenes, like there's scenes where you could hear in the background his parents arguing, kind of like showing his childhood life. And then there's a part where he's scared about the basement, but it's because that's where he kept all the his art that he never felt like he continued with when he felt like he should have, because now he doesn't feel like he went anywhere with his life.
Yeah, and what's crazy is I never felt the movie to be have any ounce of pretentiousness, but like we were saying, that second car ride, another big thing about it is, well, I think you're saying it earlier, is that like they just talk so crazy, like their sentences have, I mean, I don't want to make myself sound like an idiot here. They use so many big words, but like a lot of big words. They have like a lot of, they talk a lot of metaphors in the scene.
They bring up a bunch of different topics, different people and stuff.
Yeah, and all this stuff, and their words just go all over the place. And it really does hit pretentiousness, because I feel like, and I don't know if I would have liked it here, but I feel like it would have hit a little better if everything they're saying was easy to kind of understand what they're saying. Yeah, if that makes sense. Because the whole time they're talking so out there that your brain kind of turns off, because you're like, I know I'm not going to understand this,
right?
So I'm just not going to really listen completely what they're saying. But and I think that really is the biggest issue with this movie, is that one scene. Because like after I saw this movie, I was really wondering, like, why didn't I like the last scenes after the car ride? I knew I didn't like the second car ride, but like, why? Because I was really wanting to like everything about this movie. And I was like, why didn't I like those scenes after? And I think it was just because of that car ride. That car ride made you want it to end. Therefore, you just didn't get the emotional value of the movie. Like, you didn't feel the emotions this movie was wanting to pull out of you. And then at the end of the day, this movie actually is a very sad movie. The emotional aspects are done very well, and it just makes you think about stuff, but it's just not one scene, and it's very unfortunate. I hate having to talk about this movie like that. Well, guys, I think we're going to end it there.
Thinking of ending it.
Yeah, thinking of ending things there. Yeah. But yeah, I think we're going to end it there, because that's pretty much what all we have to talk about. Like I said, if you love this movie, that's fine. I understand why you love this movie. I loved it pretty much myself, It's just that one scene. It just kind of messed up a lot of things for me.
Yeah, and if you're wanting to watch it, it's on Netflix. I don't know if we mentioned that, but just know that you're gonna be walking into a very metaphorical movie. It's not gonna be really straightforward. It's a really weird movie, has weird vibes to it, but it's weird vibes I like until like we've been talking about the second car ride scene. Just lasted way too long.
Yeah,
we really want to do make it like an edit.
Yeah, I would love to do an
cut
edit.
that scene down a little bit.
I honestly, and I know this is crazy. I know this is crazy to say. Which actually, I should probably say this after we say the grades, just because like, why is that crazy? You know, we'll say the grades. So I'll say the grades first. I think overall, we're gonna go and give this movie a 77.
Right.
77. Yeah.
77% awesome.
77% awesome.
Forgot
Yeah.
our
Man. 77% awesome. I will say this. I know this is gonna sound weird, but if that scene wasn't there, I'd probably give this movie somewhere in the 90s.
Yeah.
I know that just really sounds weird. Like, how are you gonna drop it so much because of that? Because I think at first I was thinking, well, maybe I'll give it somewhere in the 80s because, you know, that scene. But then there was just a part of my brain like, no, it doesn't deserve in the 80s. Right. You know, because I was wondering, like, maybe I can just knock off like 15, 20 points because the only thing I didn't like about the movie was that one scene.
Yeah.
But I realized that scene's there. Yeah. I can't like say that like
imagine it not being there.
You're like, well, I wouldn't have minded if the scene wasn't there. But the thing is, the scene was there, so I have to grade it with that scene in. Even though I liked everything afterwards, I liked everything afterwards a lot less than I would have if that scene wasn't there.
Yeah.
And so you also have to take that into account. You can't just grade in scene by scene. You have to grade in how scenes affect the next scene, you know, and how just things affect each other. And so unfortunately I have to drop it down to about 77%.
Yeah, and you said it was based on a book, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if the whole scene was in the book, but like we were talking about before this, like, I feel like you should know like when things work in a book but not in a movie.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with anything. Comic books, people always get mad at like, why did this happen? It was in the comic books.
Or like, why isn't their costume accurate or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. Like Electro. You know, can you imagine Electro costume being in the movies? Or talking about Spider-Man, by the way.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're gonna do with the Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, I know, right?
New version of Electro.
Yeah, just some things don't work as they do in books or in comic books as they do in movies. Also, I want to say this. I think this would be a really cool stage play.
Yeah.
Overall, I just the way people were talking to each other.
Yeah, there's long scenes. Well, I mean, like not all the scenes that were long were bad. Just that one car ride scene, but there were long scenes, especially like in the house.
Yeah.
There's I don't know if there's like one shots or anything in this movie, but a lot of the scenes felt long.
Yeah.
And a lot of the scenes took place like kind of in the same like one area.
Yeah, I think there's probably like a max of like maybe 3-4 sets.
Right.
And like 2 of those, there's like car driving. You can figure out a way to do that like pretty easily. You know?
Right. Exactly.
So I feel like it'd be a pretty cool stage play. I don't know if that second card. I don't know if I like it in the stage play. I'm not sure though. You know.
Maybe it work in a stage play.
Yeah, maybe it work in a stage play. I'm not sure. Because like I said, different mediums work in different ways. You know.
Yeah.
So stage play and movies, 2 different things. Well, anyways, guys, I think that will be it. I don't know what I'm thinking. That will be it for this. If you like this video, if you're interested in watching more of our videos, please subscribe. I think there's a bell you can click on to let us know.
To get notifications.
To get notifications when we put up videos. And we're going to go ahead and keep trying to put up videos. Like I said, we have our best of the decade videos coming up. We have 2 more coming up. And we're going to try to get those up by the end of the year.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
we started back in February.
Yeah. But a lot of things got in the way, and then also
2020 happened.
2020 happened, and then laziness happened because of 2020. You know, just lost. Like we were going like we're editing those things pretty well.
Yeah.
And then nothing. You know. But so hopefully we get those out.
Yeah, and definitely check out our podcast. We're trying to get back up into nice consistency with that. But we're going to be recording the next episode right after this. So we'll have a new episode out soon.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. And you will. So, well, did we say everything? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we have social media too. Instagram, Twitter.
@2awesomemen.
@2awesomemen. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and you will see us later.